From dark side manipulations that span decades to the tragic consequences of rebel victories, these Star Wars theories will flip everything you thought you understood about the saga. Number 1. Vader's redemption was orchestrated by the Force itself. Luke throwing away his lightsaber and declaring himself a Jedi seems like the moment that saves Anakin's soul. But what if Vader's entire arc, from miraculous birth to throwing Palpatine down a reactor shaft, was one massive Force-guided chess game? Consider Anakin's origin. Born without a father, impossibly strong in the Force, discovered at exactly the right moment by exactly the right Jedi. These aren't coincidences, they're the Force setting pieces on the board. Every vision, every nightmare, every moment of pain was a thread in an invisible web, pulling him toward one specific choice. The prophecy of the Chosen One never specified how balance would be achieved. Anakin had to fall completely to the dark side, eliminate the Jedi Order, and serve as Palpatine's enforcer for decades. Only then could Luke exist, as the spark needed to ignite the final transformation. Padme's death, the destruction of the Jedi Temple, even the 20 years of serving the Empire, all necessary chapters in a story the Force was writing. Number 2. The Endor Holocaust. The Rebel Alliance destroyed the second Death Star in one of cinema's most celebrated victories: fireworks, Ewok dancing, and galactic celebration. But here's the nightmare nobody talks about. That explosion should have annihilated everyone on Endor's forest moon. When the Death Star exploded, it released energy equivalent to thousands of nuclear bombs. The debris field would have rained down on Endor at hypersonic speeds, turning the atmosphere into a furnace. Massive chunks of superheated metal, radiation, and thermal energy would have vaporized everything within the blast radius. Physics doesn't care about happy endings. The orbital decay alone would have dumped enough material to trigger an extinction-level event. Those cuddly Ewoks cheering under fireworks, they should have been incinerated within hours. The entire moon's ecosystem would have collapsed. Forests burning, wildlife dying, atmosphere poisoned by fallout. Number 3. Palpatine genuinely believed he was saving the galaxy. Every villain thinks they're the hero of their own story, but Palpatine's conviction runs deeper than simple megalomania. From his twisted perspective, the Empire wasn't tyranny, it was emergency surgery on a dying republic. The old republic was collapsing under corruption, bureaucratic gridlock, and endless debate while real problems festered. Palpatine watched worlds suffer because senators couldn't agree on solutions. His famous speech about creating the Empire wasn't just manipulation, it was a sales pitch for efficiency over democracy. The Tarkin novel reveals Palpatine's philosophy. Fear and control aren't evil tools, they're effective ones. He believed liberty was fragile, easily corrupted, and ultimately dangerous in the hands of those too weak to wield it properly. Why waste decades debating when a single strong leader could implement immediate solutions? Number 4. Obi-Wan and Padme had an affair. The line that changes everything is in Revenge of the Sith. You're with him. Anakin doesn't sound jealous. He sounds like a man who suspected something for years and finally has confirmation. What if his paranoia wasn't entirely paranoid? Obi-Wan showed consistent emotional investment in Padme beyond professional concern. He knew about the secret marriage, but never reported it, violating the Jedi code he supposedly held sacred. Their private conversations carried an intimacy that transcended friendship, filled with meaningful looks and unspoken understanding. The theory doesn't require a full-blown physical affair. Even unacted romantic tension adds tragic complexity. Obi-Wan is torn between loyalty to the Jedi Order, brotherhood with Anakin, and feelings he couldn't acknowledge. Padme was struggling with attraction to the man who represented everything her husband was supposed to be. Number 5. Mace Windu wanted to be the Chosen One. Samuel L. Jackson insists Mace Windu survived his fall from Palpatine's office. But here's a darker theory. Windu's coldness toward Anakin wasn't just caution, it was resentment that a slave child got the destiny he deserved. Mace Windu mastered Vapad, the rarest and most dangerous lightsaber form, walking the razor's edge between light and dark without falling. He led the Jedi Council, commanded respect across the galaxy, and possessed power that rivaled any Force user alive. Then, a 9-year-old shows up with a prophecy, and suddenly, Windu's lifetime of discipline means nothing. nothing. Watch how Windu treats Anakin throughout the prequel trilogy. It's not a protective concern, it's a master watching an unworthy apprentice receive unearned recognition. When he moves to arrest Palpatine and excludes Anakin from the mission, it's not strategic, it's personal. He's trying to fulfill the prophecy himself, proving he was the chosen one all along. This doesn't make Windu evil, just human. He believed in the prophecy, but thought it meant him, the disciplined warrior who'd earned his power through sacrifice and control. Anakin represented everything Windu feared: raw talent without wisdom, power without discipline, destiny without merit. His judgment was clouded not by darkness, but by the very human sin of believing he deserved better than fate had given him. Number 6. Finn was Force-sensitive all along. Finn picks up a lightsaber and fights Kylo Ren like someone guided by instinct, not training. He breaks the First Order brainwashing that controlled millions of other stormtroopers. He senses Rey's pain across vast distances and feels the Final Order's signal when nobody else can. This isn't luck. This is the Force awakening. J.J. Abrams confirmed that Finn's dying words to Rey in The Rise of Skywalker were meant to be, "I can feel the Force," and the novelization makes it explicit. He kept this secret throughout the trilogy, not because he was hiding it, but because he didn't understand what was happening to him. Think about his defection from the First Order. Thousands of stormtroopers received identical conditioning, but only Finn broke free. Something stronger than programming guided him away from his squad, away from everything he'd known. That's not conscience. That's Force sensitivity rejecting control at a fundamental level. He doesn't lift rocks or throw lightning, but his abilities manifest differently. Empathic connections, tactical intuition, sensing disturbances that trained soldiers miss. The Force doesn't work the same for everyone, and Finn represents a new type of Force user, one who leads through connection rather than power, who trusts instinct over training. Number 7. Palpatine orchestrated Shmi Skywalker's death. Anakin's mother dies in his arms after being tortured by Tusken Raiders, triggering his first massacre and massive step toward the dark side. But what if those Raiders were just pawns in Palpatine's decades-long manipulation? George Lucas reportedly considered a scene where Palpatine admits to arranging Shmi's death, though it never made the final cut. Even without explicit confirmation, the timing is too perfect. Palpatine knew about Anakin's attachment to his mother and understood exactly how her death would shatter the young Jedi's control. Count Dooku had connections on Tatooine and resources to arrange a kidnapping disguised as a random attack. The Raiders' timing, keeping her alive just long enough for Anakin to arrive and witness her final moments, feels calculated rather than coincidental. Maximum emotional trauma was delivered at precisely the moment when Anakin was struggling with Jedi restrictions on attachment.